when you visit, so let's go back in history. And when the Europeans came to the Americas, wow, did they destroy shit
Mm-hmm.
just because it didn't fit their way of living, you know? So the Native Americans, yeah, their skin tone is different, but why let skin tone dictate how you think of them, how you act with them?
Not just skin tone. Why let anything, skin or race, sexuality, um, even your religious viewpoints. It's always caused conflict and war and nothing good. Because we're all just, not all of us, but a lot of people just judge based on these very surface level ideas.
Something happened recently with the NFL where they blocked a Native American ad from going up during the Super Bowl.
Really?
The commercial wasn't that great. It was a rapper, a Native American rapper. So I personally didn't see. It would not have affected me whatsoever if I had watched that on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be more of like an actual cinematography commercial shoot with like Native Americans and showing their culture and like what the whites, quote unquote, have done to this land, and then change the way that they live.
Wasn't that?
No, what?
The commercial wasn't about that?
No, it was just a rapper rapping about how they were oppressed. And it seemed like quite a joke to me.
So it got blocked?
It got blocked. They didn't air it. They didn't air it.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. The article didn't say why the NFL... I mean, the NFL would never comment on that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it happened. And I found that interesting that they didn't do it. And a side of me says it was kind of a shitty commercial, so I don't see why. I can see why they wouldn't want to air it. So, but like, the message is still there. So obviously, it's worth something,
Just oppressing others for their viewpoints.
Well, it's just crazy to think. I feel like a lot of people in this country are starting to understand why we hate Columbus Day. Because Columbus did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't discover America. You cannot discover something that people already live on and whatnot. All you really did was come, create a genocide, take gold, and leave.
Okay, I not only feel that way about Columbus Day, but my dad and I actually were having this talk the other day, and we as a society and a culture, we put so much praise and put these people on pedestals who have done these great things throughout history, supposedly, like Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison was a dick.
Exactly. And no one learns about Nikola Tesla in schools. I mean, now
Nikola Tesla was not super nice, but nonetheless, he was significantly better than Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
He was a lot more genuine, but he wasn't perfect either. No one's perfect.
No one's perfect. But, like, even with, Thomas Jefferson and him he did, I guess, free his slaves. And it was a different time period and culture and society back then. But still, it's like, we represent these people who have this one idea, and why are we doing that? I don't know.
Why are we celebrating it?
Yeah.
To me, Columbus Day is just celebrating the ignorance that was Columbus coming to America and choosing to destroy lots of amazing people, and a culture, destroying a culture, and obviously exploiting land.
It's
beautiful land. Absolutely beautiful land, by the way.
And, okay, since you mentioned culture, that's something that actually I'd like to discuss. Because it's not just Native American culture. Like, I've noticed...
That's just something that came up recently.
Well, and I love different cultures. Like, I just find it fascinating.
I'm not racist.
No, I'm just saying I love to learn what makes each society different and unique, and I find beauty in it. But I've noticed that cultures are becoming, especially when we are talking about America, this melting pot of cultures, that it really, a lot of these cultures are sort of getting lost because they're becoming formed into this huge, social media, the pop culture, I guess. Instead of eating your traditional dishes, it's like, oh, let's go to McDonald's or something, and listening to different music.
Yeah, McDonald's isn't going to be here for much longer.
Well, besides the point, it's just a lot of these cultures, I feel, when looking at it through Western, or more or less in America, are getting lost because it's...
They are and they aren't. Because, well, okay, maybe you wanted to say something on that.
No.
So, if it's a melting pot, which I find bull in, because I don't think it's a melting pot, I think it's a structured melting. As in, like, there is a cast that the soup is being poured into. I don't know how that... Let's just go with that. What was I saying?
You don't believe that's... these cultures are
it's
getting
not
lost.
it's I don't think it's I think the way that they are living is changing. Their social not their social, their environment is changing, and that can definitely affect the way that cultures and interact with one another. But I don't see, let's say people from Mexico coming up and completely changing in person.
No, but cultures, a lot of it is based on tradition, and due to the society we live in where it's like new and everything's changing, that's why I see sort of these cultures getting lost, is because of this changing world we're living in.
But then we can go into the idea of, if change is a constant, are cultures really ever this constant also?
I feel like they still hold true to traditions and roots, but...
You can do that in another country, can't you? People that celebrate the Day of the Dead in Mexico can do that here. There's nothing stopping you. Sure, you might live in a community where they don't do that, but nonetheless the people there can still do it. Or go meet with other groups of people from their culture and do the celebrations that they usually do.
Yeah, I guess I just see it with the younger society a lot because, with all this social media and this idea of fitting in, and that's the thing. Everyone, I think, or a lot of people want to fit in.
Is it culture or is it nationalism?
Okay, because when I'm thinking of culture, like the American culture, I don't know, at least what I've seen is like their ideas of, I don't even know how to describe it. I just going to the malls, the materialism.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I see cultures getting lost. People rather like watch TV and go on social media than spend time doing these traditional
But
things.
that's their own fault.
But it's because they're trying to fit into this Western culture.
Let me tell you, it takes a lot of effort to fit into a culture where you have to sit down and watch TV. Now, that's a real sacrifice from your culture. To have to sit down and watch TV, what a sacrifice.
Oh my gosh. Sarcasm. I'm just saying, that's why I see a lot of these cultures sort of melting away when we get into America, because it is this melting pot, but it's...
I just find it tough to say that cultures are going away, considering that change is a constant, and since cultures change, they'll be morphing no matter what. Things always happen. Sure, they have some certain traditions that they might stick around to, but they can still be celebrated. Like,
they can still...
the United States celebrates Christmas, the Christian holiday. It's a Christian-based country. And if you wanted to go to India and celebrate Christmas, you can go ahead and do that inside your own parameters. It's no big deal.
I'm not saying we don't have the right to. I'm just saying I don't feel like people are going to do that. Like, I feel it's fading more and more, though.
Fading as to what? What are we coming to? What is the result of us losing these cultures? Like, I can see the importance of, when it comes to losing culture, I could see the importance of losing certain languages and certain foods and like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is of great value, and we're losing languages. Like, statistic a long time ago was like a couple hundred a day or something. That many languages we lose every day. Apparently, there's a crap ton of languages out there.
Yeah, I did not know that.
So I could see value in that, in terms of the culture of that, and like traditions of like believing in certain deities or spirits or something.
Well, and that's what makes me sort of sad about this thought, is because I really do cherish diversity. That's what interests me, and that's what makes us all special, is we have these differences, and if we're all, blending into one uniform, culture, I don't know, it just...
And yeah, no, that's terrible. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. That would suck for everyone to just do the exact same thing every day, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But then comes to the idea of unity.
Yes, duality. I feel like, yeah, I can see you getting on this topic.
Because duality would give us a sense of like everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bunch of differences in everything. But if we're striving towards unity, and I'm not talking about like peace on earth. I'm talking about like actual unity within everything. Wouldn't everything become the same thing?
Well, now that you mention this, it kind of gets back to the start of like what we were talking about with Prejudice a little, because if you look at religions and all their different gods and goddesses, they have, a fire god, god of harvest. If you deconstruct it, it's pretty much the same thing. So I think we have unity in this world already. We just choose
not to see it.
Yeah, we look at it through duality.
Oh yeah, there's so many religions that it's just like, why are you guys fighting?
Yeah. Well,
and sure, someone out there could be like, well, we're doing it because of this. Be like, yeah, but if you really come outside of your religion for a couple of minutes and like see how similar you guys really are, it's really not that different. You're choosing to be different.
Well, and that's the thing, is I think we need to then shift our mindsets to honoring and respecting these differences, but deep down knowing that we all have the same core belief. Like all of these prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, they're all different religions.
Please, name more, 5 more.
5 more? That's all I can think of. I need to brush up on my religious history. But anyway, Gandhi. There's another one for you.
Is that a prophet? That's a person.
So is Jesus.
Supposedly.
But anyway, they all have these different religions. But deep down, they just spread messages of love. So it's,
You could say they're representative heads. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
they're representative of a certain idea.
But all that idea is still the same. It's just the different viewpoints.
It's not like there's a religion on Martin Luther King Jr. It's his idea. I'm getting off topic. Back to what we're saying.
No, I mean, I guess the key point I was just making is the duality, but
and this goes back to the idea of change, is that sometimes we just don't want to change, and we force ourselves to find differences or think that they're just different simply because they are not me.
Mm-hmm.
That these issues occur.
Well, and I know we're jumping everywhere, but it's all weaving together, because I'm jumping back to Columbus and how it was different.
Did you watch the Super Bowl? No, I'm just kidding. Go.
I didn't. I actually celebrated the full moon.
Because you said like we're all over everywhere.
Yeah. No.
Go ahead.
But Columbus and how, or people who just go to another land and see the native tribes and don't like their way of living because it's different from theirs. It's like,
That prejudice.
Yeah, and how ignorant it is, because you can learn so much from another culture, and it opens your viewpoint and your perspectives.
People are afraid of change. When you are afraid of change, you will do anything to stop it.
And change is inevitable.
And I'm not saying that Columbus was necessarily afraid of changing in terms of going to the Americas and like living there, because he would live the same way. He would try and replicate what they have in Europe, but he didn't have to kill all those Native Americans.
Yeah.
And the Native Americans didn't have to kill him. Just to make sure that it's even on both sides.
Well, and now, something popped into my head of missionists. Missionary?
What is that? Missionaries?
Yeah, the ones who go to different countries and try to convert people to their religion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's just, I can sort of understand why they do it, because they think they're I mean, maybe for them they have such a fulfillment that they want to just spread their message, but
half the time they're just being annoying.
Well, and I just also think you have to realize that, you can find this, it's going back to that unity where, some other tribe may feel the fulfillment as well, just in a different way. It doesn't have to be through that religion. So.
Well, and then once again, all religions, structured religions, are essentially the same thing. And there's plenty of videos out there that show it.
Mm-hmm.
It's creepy how similar they are. Creepy in a good way, as in like, guys, why are we fighting over this?
Well, and yeah, how a lot of religions stem from other religions and take things, and it's like...
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then I guess it just gets down to ignorance, or to being resistant to change, and, afraid of differences.
What we need, and all of us, we will struggle with this, because it's inevitable that we're going to struggle with this. I'm going to struggle with this in the next week to come. If I go anywhere, the unusual, is that we just need to understand, so hold on, I have two thoughts running. So we need to understand that people will do different things because they are different from us. They are not us.
Mm-hmm.
Do I kill my neighbor because she eats broccoli for breakfast every morning and I don't? No. That's stupid. I don't care.
I would hope not.
Yeah. I lost my other thought, but that was kind of the idea, is like, who cares about how they do things differently? We are humans no matter what. Yeah. We are all humans. Our skin tones differ because of the sun. Our mentalities are different because of our experiences. Our perspectives are different because of our experiences and the knowledge that we gain as well. I think that's really it.
No, it's a good thing to kind of wrap it up. I mean, we are different, but
we're not really that different.
We're not, and it's really, why should it matter? They're not, as long as they're not imposing their ideas, it's like, let everyone just do their own thing. This is why we're here, to find our own paths.
It's when people force ideas upon others that shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no need to force anything, because if it were truly a good idea, you wouldn't need to force it. You wouldn't. Most people would understand the logic behind what you're telling them, and they're gonna say, you know what, this might be like a good idea. Maybe I should start doing this specific thing. You don't need to force any ideas down. Good ideas stem up for a reason.
So really, we just need to
relax,
but also, people should take it up for themselves to look into things, to question things, and to be open to new experiences.
Question, like a lot of the younger generation, question why your parents are prejudiced towards certain things. Because you gain a lot of your prejudice through your parents.
Yeah.
So question it, be like, why don't you like this? And then see the other side, and see their logic behind it, and see which one makes more sense. Or come to a consensus and see the similarities in both, and just use that to make a new perspective. That's what I did. My parents have kind of liked what I talk about nowadays, how I think, but when when I started questioning, I've come a long way from what we used to think.
Yeah, oh gosh, me too. And I mean, because I grew up with my mom telling me these, I like to call them horror stories of like her growing up in Chicago in the gang neighborhoods, and it's like, I had this prejudice already in my head, and when I actually experienced Chicago, not that I was going into the gang-infested neighborhoods, but like, I was like, not everyone's like that.
No, not everyone.
Yeah.
And it's not always like that.
Yeah, and
this idea of Chirac, I'm not saying that there isn't certain bad places. It's just like Chicago is the new Iraq because there's so much violence. I'm not saying that there aren't bad parts in Chicago. Of course, there will always be bad parts in every town, every city. Because some people just choose to do bad things. That's a minuscule percentage of how amazing the city truly is. I
feel like we're just talking about everything today.
That's what I'm going to label this under. Podcast number 9, everything.
Everything. I know, because we're kind of like going everywhere, because then I could talk about...
when I was a child, I used to think that.
This is the regression session of the podcast.
Alright, is that all for you?
I guess. That's not everything, but...
Shut up. Adios.